Today, I got some news you can use. But first, we're going to get into these November releases and we're going to find out what's a cop and what's a drop. And then I want to know what you guys are copping this month. And then after that, I'm going to give you guys some information and give you some free game and let you know exactly why you need to check your stores.
OG Trap Jordan, OG Trap Jordan, the other sneaker YouTubers, the hell are boring. OG Trap Jordan, OG Trap Jordan, I got sneakers, raining and pouring.
What up, YouTube? OG Trap Jordan back with another one, and today I want to do a copper drop video about the Jordan brand releases for the month of November. Now, we all know October was kind of stale, which is good, give us a chance to replenish our pockets, but now we're headed into some bangers and it's going to get kind of spendy. So I'm just going to focus on the Jordan brand releases, and then after that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give you guys a little information and put you up on some game that you're going to want to stick around and listen to. And I'm going to tell you exactly why you need to check your stores. But let's just get right into the month of November. And the first thing I'm going to talk about is something that has already dropped. We kind of missed a couple drops already. We're already into the month. So let's talk about this though. On November 1st, we had the Air Jordan 40 Chicago. The colorway was Sail Varsity red, white, and black, and there was a price of $205 on them joints. And let me talk about these real briefly because I actually like this shoe. I think it's a pretty dope shoe. To tell you the truth, I didn't really catch wind of it until it had already released, and I don't know how many are still out there. When I made my video the other day, there was still some pairs floating around, but I'm gonna tell you the truth. These could have been a cop for me. If I would have been more aware of what was going on, I probably would have put in more legwork and probably would have tried to cop these. But to be honest with you, if I was to walk in the store and see these sitting, I'd probably cop. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna call those a cop, and that's a cop for me. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about these. I love what they did with the swoosh right here. I just think this is a clean shoe. I like what they're doing with the 40s. The 40s are pretty clean. They got a lot of cool concepts coming up, so I'm just hoping they don't oversaturate it and play it out, but it's pretty dope in my opinion. So that one is definitely a cop. And then we had a couple more releases. I'm just gonna go over them real quick. We had a GS Blue Chill. I wasn't even aware of this. I guess that's cool for the kids. If I was a kid, I still probably wouldn't cop. And so that'd be a drop for me. And then you got the Cozy Girls, a women's release. And these are pretty dope. So I'd say if I was a lady, I might cop. But let's go on to one that's been talked about a lot. I think these had gotten delayed a little bit a while ago. I think they were supposed to release, or they kind of released a couple pairs or something. I don't know all the details on these, but the Air Jordan 11 Rare Air, you know, it's a part of the Rare Air series, and I bought a couple of those. Little Teddy Turnip got the 4s. I got the 1s, and I think the 3s are pretty dope. And I think this is a clean shoe, but I'm gonna be honest with you. This is not a cop for me. But I say that about a lot of shoes, and then I walk in the store, they're sitting right there. Maybe they go on sale, maybe I grab them, but for right now, I'm gonna drop them. Let me know if you guys like these, if you're messing with them. I'm not trying to deter anybody's opinion. This is just my opinion, what I'm gonna cop or drop, but I do want to know what you guys think about these because they are a clean shoe and they're pretty dope. I just don't need them in my collection right now. So we're gonna move on to one of the big bangers coming up of November, and that's the Travis Scott Fragment Air Jordan 1 Low OG. Colorway Sail Black, Muslin, and Military Blue. Release date November 8th through 12th. So we know how that goes. We never really know when it's gonna drop. So all the live streamers will be out and people will be camping out and trying to get their hands on these. It's a price of $155, and I'm gonna be honest about these as well. I like these. I think these are super clean, especially if you put the blue laces in. That's just my opinion. So for me, it's a cop, but I'm not paying resale because I'm anti-resale over here. All year, I've skipped on paying resale on anything. I've been able to get my hands on almost everything. The only thing that I didn't grab was the 85 hybrids, which those are coming out again later, and hopefully I can shoot my shot, but we'll see what happens with those. And then also, I didn't get the brick by bricks, but you know what? I'm at the point where I'm just moving on. If I can't get them for resale, it's For retail, it's hashtag no resale. And that's what it is with me. And I've been sticking to my guns all year long. But for this, we know how it goes. It's going to be hard to get. You're going to want to get on all your raffles, your little equal raffles or EQL or whatever it's called, and then get on the Travis website. I don't know if these are going to go on sneakers. They probably will, but it's definitely a cop for me if I can get them for retail, but we know how that goes. So let's move along to another one that I want to talk about now, the Air Jordan 12 Taxi. This is a big one. A lot of people have been anticipating this for a long time, for many years. Many snows have fallen, and there has been many moons that people have been waiting for this one to drop. It's the Air Jordan 12 Taxi, colorway white, black, and taxi. I guess whatever color that is. And the release date is November 8th for a price of $215. Now, this is how I feel about these. It's a classic, and I like it, and I would say cop, but here's the thing about these. Let me explain something. So Jordan Brand really loves to play with us. They'll give us something very similar to something that we want, and then everybody will go out and get it because they want it so bad, and then later on down the road, a couple years later, they'll give us the real thing, and then everybody will go out and get it because that last version wasn't quite the same. Last year, we got the red taxi, which was basically, it was a taxi with a little red swipe across the side of it, whatever you want to call it. And then a couple years before that, we got these. We got the royalty joints. And I grabbed these simply because I wanted taxis, and this was the next best thing. And that's why Jordan Brand does that all the time. They want to give you something similar. And I'm going to tell you the truth. These ain't quite the taxi. They're not. I don't even like that little gold thing on the side. But it's basically the same thing. I could go like this, and I could completely clickbait you guys on a video, and you would probably think I had the taxi in my hand. But the truth is, I'm not falling for it anymore, so I'm probably going to pass on those. I'm probably going to drop. It's not going to be a cop. It's definitely going to be a cop for a lot of you. And then I also want to say this about it. I think that these are going to do really well, but I also think that, so releases lately, you know what, I'm going to save some of what I wanted to say for later, but I will say this, put your leg work in. I don't think they're going to limit these. I can't guarantee you that. I haven't seen the stock numbers on these. You know how it goes. You know the games they play, the scarcity games, and we're going to get into that a little bit later too, but I don't think you'll have a problem with these. I think these are going to be plentiful, and I think they might even sit on shelves. I know a lot of people are going to come for me in the comments and say that I'm probably tripping, but I don't think so. I don't think this will be that hard, but I will say this. If you want these, put your leg work in for them. Don't just sit around and be lazy and think you're not going to get them. But I got some more to say about that a little bit later, but I got a couple more drops that I want to talk about. And this right here is, we know there's a whole bunch of 11s coming out this holiday season, and especially November. And this one right here is the Air Jordan 11 Pearl. It's a women's. Its release date is November 11th, and the price is $235. Now, they're not for me, but wifey just sent me a picture of these the other day. So I'd say for her, it's a cop, and for a lot of ladies, it might be a cop. So ladies, let me know in the comments what you guys think, and then let's move on because we got some more to cover. Now, this is going to be a big one. This is one that a lot of people are anticipating. There's a lot of hype around it. The Air Jordan 1 Low OG Chicago, color varsity red, black, summit white, release date November 15th, price $145. A lot of people are asking me about these, and here's the truth about these. In my opinion, it's the same thing with the taxis. If they make enough pairs of these, you're going to be able to get them. But who knows what they're going to do because it's the holiday season. I do think they're going to make plenty of pairs of these because it's the holiday season. But I also am still at a point where I'm not completely comfortable to tell you guys that everything is going to sit. Even though we've had a great year and a lot of things are sitting, I'd say the same thing I said about the taxis. Put your leg work in with these shoes, but don't be surprised if you see plenty of restocks later, or even if you see them sitting around. And that doesn't mean shit. A real sneakerhead likes what he likes, not because it has resale value or whatever it may be, but it's a Chicago colorway. And Jordan Brand likes to play games with those kind of shoes because they like to keep the covetousness. They like to keep them rare. They don't want everybody to have them. They want people to basically have FOMO. And I would say put in your legwork, but I don't think they're going to be a problem. For me, these are a cop. So let me know if you're copping those, and then let's move on. So you got this, the Paris Saint-Germain Air Jordan 5 color off noir particle rose anthracite pearl pink sale. Release date November 15th, price $215. I don't know about these. For me, it's a drop. I don't know how limited they are. I don't know the stocks. I imagine it being a collab, it might be a little hard to get, but then again, not every collab is that hard to get anymore either. You look at the Ama Manières, those show up in like in like Burlingtons and stuff like that. So for me, this is a drop. And it's not about the hypeness. It's not about none of that. It's just for me, I don't even really like the shoe. I don't even think it's that good looking of a shoe. Personally, I guess that insole is kind of dope, but for me, this is going to be a drop. But let me know if you guys are messing with those. But there's a lot of heat that I'd rather get. Now, this one's going to be another banger, and we know what they've been doing with the 10s lately. At least we saw what they did with the steel 10s. So this is the Air Jordan 10 Shadow. Colorway, charred gray, true red black. Release date, November 19th, price $210. This is another one of those situations for me where it's kind of hard to tell what's going to happen with these. If they do them like the steels and they super limit them, everybody's going to go after them, but I don't think they are. In my opinion, I think they're going to GR these, and you're going to be able to get them, but they've been playing the games with the 10s, and they do that a lot with silhouettes that aren't normally very popular, and that's how they build up the hype. We know the games. They do that with the 17s. They did that with the steels. They were even doing it with the 12s for a minute, but the last couple of 12 releases we got, they GR'd them, and they're sitting around, and you can grab them. So that's why it's kind of hard to predict these days, but I do think same thing. Put in your legwork, and for me, it's a clean shoe, but I'm not copping. So once again, let me know if you are. So now I'm going to try to get through this and then get to what we came for, but just bear with me for a second. I got the Air Jordan 12 Pearl Pink GS. Pretty dope for kids. Now, it's a clean little colorway. It's kind of like the opposite of the Mellows that just came out that were sitting around, which is a good thing. And I guess if you put this next to the Mellows, you would basically have a gender reveal party. So I don't know, if I still had a little girl that was a little kid, my kids are all grown basically at this point, but it would be a cop. I would definitely get this if I had a little girl still who wasn't grown and on her own and out there doing what she's doing. But these are dope. I like them. But so you know what, I'm gonna say cop. If I had a little girl still at that age, then I would definitely cop these for them. And then we got the rest of the 11s. Let's just talk about this briefly. Air Jordan 11 Mojave. These are the Las Vegas version. These are all going for $250. The other one is the Air Jordan 11 H-Town. That's Houston. And then you got the Air Jordan 11 285 Atlanta. And you know what? I'm going to tell you the truth. If you like it, I love it. But I'm not copping any of these. These aren't really moving me in any type of way. I'm not really feeling any of them. And that doesn't mean that you shouldn't. If you like them, you should get them. So let me know if you're copping these 11s. Let me know. I don't know if the hype is there. I don't know. I think these are super limited. But if you like them, then you should grab them. Don't let me deter you. So what did I just do? Let me get down to the last one that I want to talk about, and then we're going to get into what we really came for. So the Air Jordan 4 Black Cat. Colorway, black, light, graphite. Release date, November 28th. Price, $225. Now, they got that Nike Air on the back. People have been going crazy as far as hype on these, and for good reason. And it's an all black shoe, and it's a 4. And I don't know what the stock numbers are going to be on this one either. But I will say this. A lot of shoes have been hyped up this year, and unless they were super limited, nobody was really going crazy after them. They were letting them sit. Even shoes that they didn't think were going to sit, sat. And I want to give you a little bit of an example. And for me, this is definitely a cop. I'm going to shoot my shot, and I don't think it's going to be that hard as long as they make plenty of pairs. If they make plenty of pairs, you put in your legwork, you're going to get these. For me, this is a cop, but that brings me into what I wanted to talk about. So I want to show you something, and I just had some videos about this, but these right here, you had these. You had the Zion Voodoos, and they limited them on sneakers, and people were kind of going crazy. The energy shifted, and people were going crazy because they were selling out online. And then a lot of people know, if you were checking your stores, they were sitting in Foot Lockers. Now, I've made my video about these, and people have gotten in the comments and told me that I was tripping and just talking a little bit of trash and saying, well, they're not sitting in my city. And some of you guys might be telling the truth, and some of you might be honest, but I'm going to tell you what I think. I think you guys ain't checking your stores, because those same people will say, well, I'm in this city and they're not sitting around. And somebody else from that city will get in the comments and be like, listen, I was at the mall. They're in this store. They're in this store. They're in this store. And this is what I think is happening right now. A lot of you guys are so accustomed to how it used to be, where everything was online and we weren't even getting anything in the stores. Some of you have been around a while. Some of you are new sneakerheads. You know, it was crazy during COVID, and there was a lot of factors into why we couldn't get our hands on shoes. And one factor that I don't talk about very much, they just let go of their last CEO, and then now they got a new guy who's kind of been around for a while, but he's the new CEO, and he's changing things. Now, that last guy was basically trying to make it so everything was online, and he was trying to eliminate the middleman, and it really was another thing besides COVID, besides everything else that happened. It was playing a major factor in why we weren't getting these shoes. We weren't getting, because everybody was botting them, and all the resellers were getting them, and they weren't really hitting the stores. This new CEO is putting these shoes in the store, and they're more limited online. But you guys are so accustomed to them selling out that when they sell out online, you think they're gone, but they're actually sitting in your stores. So that's why I want to say that when it comes to shoes like this, like when it comes to these Black Cat 4s, and it comes to the Chicago 1s, and it comes to those taxis, and it comes to all this heat that we're getting this holiday season, if they're not super limited, you should be able to get your hands on these. There's no reason why, if you're putting in the legwork, that you're not going to be able to grab these. And I just want to say that check your stores. Check your stores, because if they don't limit these, you're going to be able to grab these. And if they do limit them online, that doesn't mean anything. They could definitely be sitting at your stores. So go check your stores, just like I checked these. I checked for these, I grabbed these, and then 3 days later, when people were still talking trash, I had a subscriber that wanted a pair. I ran down there, I grabbed them, so I got another pair in the house right now. And that's all I'm saying is, these games that they were playing in the past, it's pretty much over. Jordan Brand has been doing us a solid lately. They've been actually giving us a chance to grab these shoes. And if you're not getting a lot of these shoes, it's pretty much because you're not doing the legwork. And a lot of you need to check your stores. I know it sounds like a broken record. I'm kind of beating a dead horse, but I want to put emphasis on that, because if they release these at supposedly 18,000 on Sneakers app, that doesn't mean nothing, because they're all over the place and people are saying they're not, but they really are. And so will these Black Cat 4s, these Chicago 1s. If they're not super limited, and you'll know, because all the YouTubers will make their videos about what the stock numbers are, and you will know whether or not these will be easy. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't put in your legwork, fill out your apps, and get on Sneakers app, and go to Foot Locker and Champs, and try for all the other places, the Finish Lines and all that stuff, and put in your work, and then you should be able to grab these shoes. And then on release date, when these drop, go in there. Usually it's like 5 o'clock after the store's about to close. They have like a limit of people, and people will win these raffles on like Foot Locker and Champs and stuff like that, and then they won't go pick them up. And my theory is that it's a bunch of kids that are just wishing and hoping they can get them, and then they don't have the money or whatever it may be, or people are stuck at work. But a lot of times you go in there and they're sitting on the shelf, and you guys think they sold out, and they didn't sell out. So I'm just gonna wrap it up and say this: when these shoes drop, check your stores, put in your legwork, and then go to the store. It's a lot like the old times. These shoes are sitting around so you can get them. But I'm gonna wrap it up. You know what it is. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get out of here. But if you guys like my content, please go ahead and subscribe, hit that button, hit that bell so you can get notified every time I drop one of these bangers, and you can get some more of this good stuff in your life. And remember, no shoe is an absolute must cop. Support the culture and not the resellers. I'm OG Trap Jordan, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.